this video lecture series, I am going to discuss about physics paper number 2501, unit 4. This unit is related with the electronics, and this unit is divided in 4 parts. As you can see, that in the first part we will discuss about the diode circuit analysis. Means if you have the p-n junction, then how to calculate the amount of the current passing through the p-n junction, and for that we will discuss one particular technique, and that is known as a load line technique. Load line technique. Then the second part of this unit is a rectifier circuit. Already you are familiar with the different types of the rectifier. Here we will discuss again a half wave, full wave, and the bridge rectifier circuit, but with the mathematical analysis. And in this analysis we will calculate the amount of the DC voltage, DC current, AC voltage, ripple factor. So the different parameters of the rectifier circuit we are going to discuss in this part of the unit. Third one is a filter circuit. So basically we know that we don't have any rectifier circuit which provide you a pure DC voltage. There will be some AC component. So how we can minimize this AC component using the filter circuit? For that we have a different types of the filter. Here we will discuss about the L filter and the C filter. So by introduction of the inductor or the capacitor in a rectifier circuit, how we can reduce the AC component in the output of the DC, in the output of the rectifier circuit. So we will have a kind of a mathematical analysis, and that we are going to discuss in this unit. The fourth one is a transient current in RL and RC circuit. So basically already you learned about the AC circuit analysis. But now here in the RC, instead of a AC source, if we connect a battery, means a DC source. So how the capacitor is going to be charged, or it is going to be discharged with the time t, what will be the mathematical expression for the charging of the current and the discharging of the current? Same way, if we connect the battery with the RL circuit, then what will be the growth of the current with the time t? So all this kind of the analysis we will do it in this part of this unit. So this is about your syllabus for the unit number 4. Now we are going to start with a diode circuit analysis. So for this analysis we will use a concept of a load line. But before we discuss this topic, let us revise what we have learned about the p-n junction. Now already you know the p-n junction is a kind of a diode here, and this diode has two terminals. One terminal is known as the anode, or the p-type material, that is a terminal known as the anode of the diode, and whatever the n-type material is there, that terminal is known as the cathode of the diode. And this arrow is indicating that when the diode is in forward bias, whatever the flow of the current, it is indicating the direction of the current when the diode is in forward bias. Okay. Now we know that this diode we can operate in a two different way. One is a forward bias mode and a reverse bias mode. What is a forward bias connection? Forward bias connection means when this anode or the p-type material is connected with the positive of the battery, and the cathode is connected with the negative of the battery, then this connection is known as a forward bias connection. And here, if we applied a different voltage, means if I will change this voltage, and if we measure what is the flow of the current, for the different value of the voltage, if we measure what is the flow of the current, then if we draw the graph, a I versus V, that is called a forward bias characteristics of the p-n junction. So let us see what will be these characteristics. Here, if we draw this, correct? Now in a 12th standard, already you have learned that this characteristics is like this. Here you can see when my input voltage or the forward bias voltage is less, then the amount of the current in the PN junction is very small. And after certain voltage, the current is going to start. And here, if we draw this line, then you can see that after this voltage, the current is suddenly increasing. Then this voltage is known as a knee voltage, or it is known as a threshold voltage. Now for the different types of the material, the knee voltage or the threshold voltage is different. If we have a silicon diode, means a p-type material and n-type material, both are made up from the silicon material, then this knee voltage is 0.7 volt. Or if it is made up from a germanium, then this knee voltage is 0.3 volt. Correct? That is a cutoff voltage also, you can say. So here, after the 0.7, the current is going to be start in the PN junction. Now, what will be the, now here, why this knee voltage, when your applied voltage is less than the knee voltage, then the current is not flowing because of the potential barrier. In a silicon diode, the potential barrier that is about a 0.7, and therefore even your external voltage is greater than 0.7, then only the current will flow in the PN junction. Okay. Now if we see what will be the resistance offered by the diode. So for that you can find out the slope of this diode. Here we have a voltage axis, we have a current axis, and if you can take a slope of this diode, that will give you a resistance of the diode. That is known as the static resistance of the diode or the forward bias resistance. So we can calculate in this way. Forward bias resistance, that is represented as RF, or you can also write as RD. Sometimes it is also represented as RD, and the resistance is always a ratio of voltage to the current. So we can have a delta V by delta I. Delta V by delta I. So let us say this my delta V. Delta V is of a 0.1 volt and this delta I is of a 5 milliampere. Correct? It is a 5 milliampere. Then if you calculate, then the delta V is 0.1. This is a 5 into 10 raised to minus 3. So you can calculate this. So it is a 0.1 multiplied by 1000 divided by 5. So 50 divided by this. So this will comes out to be a 20 ohms. And 20 ohm is very small amount of the resistance. You can say the diode is working as a kind of a short circuit. This dynamic resistance, this forward bias resistance is very small, very less, and that's why there is a flow of the current. Here you can say the diode is working as a short circuit. It is working as a short circuit, or you can consider the diode is in a on condition. Because in this condition there is a flow of the current. Correct? So this is about the forward bias connection. Now here in the forward bias connection, whatever the current is going to be flow, it will be always in order of a milliampere. Then second important thing here, if you see that this part of the circuit, remember, this part of the circuit is a non-linear. And then after here if you see, this part is almost a linear part. This one is almost a linear part. So basically the PN junction has a non-linear characteristics, and due to this non-linear characteristics, if I will calculate the resistance at this point, or if I will calculate the resistance here, or I will calculate the resistance here, the resistance will be a different. Remember, here the resistance of the PN junction will be a different. Here we have a linear part, so in this case the resistance is a 20 ohm. But if I will calculate at this point, the resistance will be a 200 ohm. Here if you calculate, the resistance will be a 2 kilo ohm, and here if you calculate, it is a 1 mega ohm. So when this diode is in cutoff region, then the resistance will be very large, and when it will go to the linear region, the resistance is going to be a decrease. What I mean to say that the resistance of the diode is not a constant. It is depends on how much current is flowing. So here the current is very small. Here you can see the current is very small, so the resistance is large, and here the current is very large, so the resistance is very small. So value of the resistance depends on the current, or we can also say the current is also depending on the resistance, and that's why the relation between the current and voltage is a non-linear. Correct? This is very important for the analysis of the diode circuit. Okay. Now, what do you mean by the forward bias? Forward bias doesn't mean that we are connecting a positive to the anode and the negative to the cathode. Remember, here you should remember this forward bias connection in this manner, that when this potential difference between the anode and cathode is a 0.7 volt for a silicon, or greater than 0.7 volt, then the diode will be in a forward bias. Second thing, that anode should be more positive than the cathode by amount of 0.7 volt. Anode of diode must be more positive than cathode by amount of 0.7 volt, then the diode is in forward bias. Remember. So anode should be more positive than cathode. So here, if I will give you some example, so it will be clear to you. Let us say a 1p junction like this. This is my anode and this is the cathode. So let us say the cathode is connected to the ground. Then how much voltage I have to apply on the anode so that the diode will be in a forward bias. So I already mentioned that the anode should be more positive than cathode. Means here if I will apply a 0.7 volt or greater than 0.7 volt, in that case your diode will be in a forward bias. Okay. Now here, if this is connected, if this anode is connected to the ground and this is my cathode, so how much voltage I have to apply on a cathode so that the diode will be in a forward bias? So again you have to see the potential difference between anode and cathode must be a 0.7 or greater than 0.7, but the anode should be more positive, and that's why on the cathode if I will apply a minus 0.7 volt, then in this condition diode will be in a forward bias. Let us see one more example. Here, if I will apply a plus 3 volt on the anode. Then what should be the voltage on a cathode for the forward bias? Then naturally here the cathode potential must be less than anode by amount of 0.7. So if I will apply a plus 2.3 volt, then the diode will be in a forward bias. So here remember that forward bias doesn't mean that the anode potential must be positive and the cathode must be a negative. Here in both the case, here a anode is also a positive, cathode voltage is also a positive, still it is in forward bias. Now here if I will apply a minus 1 volt on the anode of the diode, then what should be the potential on the cathode? Then naturally the anode should be a more positive than cathode. So here if I will apply minus 1.7 volt, then the diode will be in a forward bias. So I think so now the concept is clear about what is the forward bias of the PN junction. Okay, now let us see what mean by the reverse bias. So here we have a anode of this diode, cathode of the diode. When this anode of the diode is connected to the negative of the battery and the cathode is connected to the positive of the battery, then this connection is known as a reverse bias connection. And here if we change this voltage V and let us measure what is the current in the diode, then that will give you the reverse bias characteristics of the PN junction. So if we draw this, then the characteristics will be like this. If we apply the voltage V, 1 volt, 2 volt, 3 volt, and if we measure the current, then your current will be, here we have a current axis and that is known as a reverse bias current. Here we have a voltage axis, this is a reverse bias voltage, means a minus 1, minus 2, sorry, here this x-axis we apply a voltage, that is a reverse bias voltage, minus 1 volt, minus 5 volt, minus 10 volt, like this. And if we measure the current, so this current is known as a reverse bias current, and always this reverse bias current will be in order of a microampere. It will be in order of a microampere. Now if we apply the different voltage, minus 1, minus 2, minus 5, minus 10, then here you will find that this current is almost remain constant, and that current will be a very, very small current, remember. And after some voltage, the current is suddenly increasing, and that is known as a breakdown voltage of the PN junction. That is represented as VB. So after the breakdown, the current is suddenly increasing, and already you all learned that this breakdown mechanism is either due to a average effect or due to a Zener effect, but we are not going to discuss here. But what I mean to say that when the diode is in reverse bias, the flow of the current here it is very, very small, and that is in order of a microampere. Now let us see what is the resistance offered by the PN junction. So again, to find out the resistance, here we take the slope of this. We take the slope of this characteristic. You cannot take a slope on a breakdown region because we are not going to operate this breakdown region. So you have to find out the slope of the diode in this region, and if you calculate the reverse bias resistance, so that is is known as RR is delta V by delta I. So let us say this change in the voltage delta V is a 10 volt and this is a delta I is 1 microampere. 1 microampere, then this is 10 divided by 1 into 10 raised to minus 6. So resistance of this diode will be a 10 mega ohm. So here you can see that when you operate the diode in a reverse bias mode, the resistance offered by the diode PN junction is very large. So we can consider this situation as an open circuit. It is known as a open circuit, or you can say this is working as a off switch, because whenever the switch is off, the current is not going to flow. Right? So this is about a reverse bias. But only thing you have to remember, reverse bias means the anode should be anode should be more negative than cathode. Remember. Reverse bias means the anode must be more negative than cathode by amount of 0.1 volt, 0.5 volt or 1 volt or 10 volt, anything. But it should be more negative than cathode. So you can say that diode is in a reverse bias. Here if you take an example, let us say my cathode voltage is a plus 5 volt. Cathode voltage is a plus 5 volt. Then what should be the voltage of the anode so that the diode will be in a reverse bias? So here if it is a plus 5 volt, so here if I will apply a plus 4.8 volt, remember. For plus 4.8, you can say it is less than the 5 volt, so it is a more negative than the cathode voltage. So in this condition, it is in a reverse bias mode. Correct? Here if I will apply the 0 volt, remember, on a cathode, if it is a 0 volt, so here you can apply the minus 1 volt. Anode must be a more negative. So in this situation also, your diode is in a reverse bias mode. Correct? Okay. Now we will start. What is the load line concept? Remember, let us have a one simple circuit where the one battery and the resistance is connected with the PN junction. This is RL. Okay. Let us say my applied voltage V is equal to a 1 volt and the RL is 100 ohm. Correct? Now I want to calculate here in this situation. I want to find out how much current is going to flow in this diode, or what is the voltage across the diode, VD, or you want to find out what is the output voltage across this load resistance RL. So we have a different parameter. So we want to find out the current I, we want to find out what is the voltage across the diode, we want to find out what is the output voltage of the circuit. How will you start? How will you analyze the circuit? We do not have any information about the diode voltage, VD. Correct? So, here if we apply directly a Kirchhoff's law, remember, we can apply the Kirchhoff's law, we can write the Kirchhoff's law. But in that case, you should know what is the resistance of the diode. Here, if we have the information about the diode RD, then only you can calculate the value of the current. Once you can calculate the current, then you can find out the output voltage also. But what is RD? That is the diode resistance. And already I have discussed the diode resistance is different in the different area of the characteristic curve. Here, if you see, correct? This is my current axis, this is my voltage axis, or you can say the diode voltage. And if we draw the characteristics, forward bias characteristics, then it is like this. If I will calculate the resistance, RD at this point, if I will calculate the resistance RD at point A, or here, then all these different points, the resistance RD is different. So, here I cannot consider RD for writing the Kirchhoff's equation. Now second thing, the resistance RD. This resistance RD depends on how much current is flowing. Here this resistance RD again depends on how much current is flowing. Correct? So again we have a problem. To calculate the RD, we should know how much current is flowing. What is the current here? Or what is the current here? So try to understand. To calculate the RD, we require the current. But if I want to calculate the I, then I will require what is the RD. What is the RD? Correct? The RD depends on the current, and the current is depends on the RD. Then how we can find out this value of the current? So directly here in this case situation, directly we cannot apply a Kirchhoff's law. We have to use a characteristic curve. And because why characteristic curve, or why we cannot apply the Kirchhoff's law? Because the relation between the current and the voltage here, it is a non-linear. So whenever the device has a non-linear characteristics, directly we cannot apply a Kirchhoff's law. We have to use a characteristic curve. And from the characteristic curve, you can find out the amount of the current. On this characteristic curve, we will draw a load line. Remember, by drawing a load line, we can find out all these parameters. That what will be the current, what will be the voltage, and what will be the output voltage of the circuit. So let us see how we can draw a load line on this characteristic curve. Now, here in this case, if I will apply the Kirchhoff's law, then I can write that the V is equal to Vd plus Vo. Correct? So my applied voltage V is equal to Vd plus Vo. And that is equal to, I can write Vd plus I into RL. Because the current passing through the RL is I. So I into RL. Now, I will make an equation for I. Then the I will be equal to, we can write minus 1 upon RL minus 1 upon V minus Vd. I will be equal to minus 1 upon RL into, okay, let us write one more step, that is the I into RL is equal to V minus VD, and therefore the I will be equal to, I will write the first term minus 1 upon RL into VD plus V by RL. Correct? Plus V by RL. Now look at this characteristic curve. Here, this axis is my current axis, this axis is my diode voltage axis VD, correct? Now, if you look at this expression, remember, this expression is representing a kind of a line. What is the expression for a line? In mathematics already you have learned that the expression for the line is given as nx plus c. Correct? Now here you can see that on a y-axis we have a current. So y is representing I. On a x-axis we have diode voltage VD. So this x is my VD. So minus 1 upon RL is representing what? Slope. So here the slope of the line, you can say n is equal to minus 1 upon RL. So n is representing and the intercept of the line on a y-axis is representing V by RL. So the C is equal to V by RL. What does this mean? That whatever the expression we have mentioned here, that I is equal to minus 1 upon RL into VD plus V by RL is representing a kind of a equation of a line, and this is known as a load line expression. It is known as load line equation. Remember, it is a load line equation. So now how we can draw this line? Already you know, whenever you want to draw the line, then you require minimum 2 points. And one of the point you can have on a x-axis where the y parameter is 0. Another point will be on a y-axis where the x parameter will be 0. Correct? So here in this expression, if we put a y is equal to 0, remember, if we put y is equal to 0 means what? That the I is equal to 0. Then what I will get? I will get my VD will be equal to V. So what is this point? What is this point? This point will be on a x-axis. Here, this point will be on a x-axis, and where you can mark as VC. These are the coordinates on the x-axis. So here, somewhere here, we have V and 0. Okay. Now let us say x is 0. X is 0 means what? The VD is equal to 0, and therefore I will get I is equal to V by RL. Here, if you put the VD is equal to 0, then the I will be equal to V by RL. So what is this coordinate? This coordinate is 0 and V by RL. And where will be this point? This point will be somewhere here. So this is a 0 and V by RL. So now I have 2 points, and if I will join these 2 points, that will give you the line. This is known as a load line. Now what is important? Here, this load line is intersecting at this point. Intersection point is this. And this intersection point is known as a Q point. Q point is also known as a operating point, or it is known as a quiescent point. Remember. So this Q point is very important for this analysis. So what this represent? Here the Q point is representing, remember. So if you find out the coordinates of this, then this is representing some voltage, and that voltage means it is a VD, diode voltage. Whatever the voltage across the diode is there, you can find out from this graph. How much current is flowing? So if you find out the corresponding current, so this is the amount of the current flowing in the circuit. So Q point, once you find out the Q point, and that will give you the information about the current, and that will give you the information about the voltage VD. So here in this way we can find out I, we can find out VD. What about the output voltage? VO. What about the output voltage? So here you can see that this voltage is V. And what is VO? VO will be equal to, we can write here, the VO is equal to V minus VD. So where is the V minus VD? V minus VD is here. You can see this is my V, this is my VD, and this is a VO. And that you can say V minus VD. So the difference of these two voltage will give you the output voltage. So in this way, if we have a diode circuit, then you can find out the current voltage using this load line technique. This is known as a load line technique. Basically remember, the load line technique is useful when your applied voltage is small. Here my applied voltage is 10 volt, 20 volt, then in that case my operating point will be in a linear region. Remember, if it is a linear region, then you can estimate the resistance of the diode. You don't require a load line analysis. But if your input voltage is a small one, then we require a load line technique. Then we can find out the current or the voltage by plotting a line on the characteristic curve. Remember, the same kind of the technique is also useful in case of the transistor, because the transistor has also a non-linear characteristics. So whenever we have a non-linear characteristics, then the load line technique is very useful. Okay. So now here you can see that the slope is given by minus 1 upon Rn, and the intercept is given by V by Rn. Now instead of a 1 volt here in this circuit, instead of 1 volt, if I will apply a V is equal to a 1.2 volt, 1.2 volt, then what will be the new line? So here you already know that this intercept, This x coordinate is V, means it is a 1.2 volt and 0. So here we can have a 1.2 volt and 0. Correct? Now the slope is not changing because the slope depends on what? Only load resistance RL. We are not changing the RL. We have changed only the voltage. So whatever the new line we draw, it will be a parallel to this line. You don't require to calculate that intercept. So here the new line will be like this. If I apply voltage, okay. So in this new line, you can see the operating point is shifted here. This is the position of a Q point. Now input voltage increase, so naturally the current is increasing. So in this case, the new current in the circuit will be this I dash. The Q point is shifted in upward direction. If my input voltage, let us say the V is equal to 0.6 volt, correct? 0.6 volt. Then in that case, here, somewhere here, we have a 0.6, correct? So let us say this is a 0.6 volt. Then you can draw a line parallel to this because RL is not changing. RL is not changing, so we can plot a parallel line. So this is my new line. Here the flow of the current has reduced, that you can see, and if you see the position of the Q point, then this will be the new Q point, that is the I double dash. And the voltage across the diode is also decreased because my input voltage has decreased. So in this way, if your input voltage is changing, then only the load line is shifted in upward or the downward direction. Q point is shifted in upward or the downward direction. And you can find out the coordinate of the Q point. That coordinate of the Q point will give you the solution of the circuit, that is the I, VD and the output voltage. Now in the next lecture, we will discuss that instead of DC, if we apply the AC voltage, then how we can find out the current in the circuit.